You need to hear this if you've ever wondered why Americans are suddenly panic buying survival gear. Have you noticed empty shelves where survival gear used to be? Maybe you've walked into your local hardware store only to find the camping section picked clean, or the emergency aisle looking eerily bare. Or perhaps you've scrolled through an online retailer, searching for gas masks, water filters, or emergency food kits, only to see those dreaded words, out of stock. It's not just you. Across the country, these items are vanishing fast, both in stores and online. Across America, people are rushing to buy emergency supplies. From urban centers to rural towns, shoppers are lining up early, grabbing what they can, sometimes even before the shelves are fully restocked. But what's really driving this trend? Is it fear of natural disasters, anxiety over global events, or something deeper, like a growing sense of uncertainty about the future? News of hurricanes, wildfires, and even international conflicts have all played a role, fueling a sense of urgency among Americans from all walks of life. So, who's stocking up, and what are they actually preparing for? It's not just hardcore preppers anymore. Families, retirees, young professionals, and even college students are getting involved, each with their own reasons, from preparing for power outages to worrying about supply chain disruptions. I'm Sean, and tonight, I'll take you inside the surge of survival gear buying sweeping the country. We'll explore the real reasons behind the rush, hear from experts and everyday Americans, and most importantly, show you how to prepare smart, not panicked. Whether you're new to emergency planning or looking to update your supplies, you'll find practical tips and real stories to help you stay ready for whatever comes next. If you've been paying attention to the news lately, you've probably noticed a steady stream of unsettling headlines, stories about conflicts erupting overseas, large-scale cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure, and ongoing economic instability that seems to touch every corner of the globe. These events aren't just distant stories, they're reminders of how quickly the world can change and how interconnected our lives have become. In recent months, we've seen wars break out in regions that once seemed stable, ransomware attacks shutting down hospitals and pipelines, and inflation driving up the cost of everyday essentials. Each headline seems to bring a new layer of uncertainty, making it harder for people to feel secure about the future. This growing sense of unease is prompting many people to shift their focus inward towards something they can actually control, their own preparedness. Stocking up on essentials, making emergency plans, and learning new skills are becoming common responses to a world that feels increasingly unpredictable. For example, families are setting aside extra food and water, creating detailed evacuation plans, and even taking first aid or self-defense classes. Some are investing in backup power sources like generators or solar panels, while others are learning how to grow their own food or purify water. These actions aren't just about surviving a worst-case scenario. They're about regaining a sense of agency in a world that often feels overwhelming. I've spoken to families, retirees, and students from all walks of life. Across the board, people are searching for ways to feel safe and ready, no matter what tomorrow might bring. It's not just about fear, it's about taking practical steps to protect loved ones and gain peace of mind. For instance, one family I met in California started holding monthly emergency drills at home, practicing what to do in case of an earthquake or wildfire. A group of college students in New York pooled their resources to create a shared emergency kit for their dorm. Even retirees, who once thought they'd left uncertainty behind, are now updating their plans and supplies to account for new risks. Social media plays a huge role in this shift. Platforms amplify stories of disruption and disaster, making the need for preparedness feel both urgent and necessary. Viral posts and trending hashtags can turn a single event into a global conversation within minutes. When a major storm or cyber attack hits, it's not uncommon to see preparedness tips, checklists, and personal stories go viral. Influencers and experts share advice on what to buy, how to plan, and which mistakes to avoid. This constant stream of information can be overwhelming, but it also empowers people to take action, sometimes for the very first time. When people see their friends, neighbors, or even strangers taking action, it reinforces the idea that they should do the same. Preparedness becomes a shared goal, something communities can work toward together. In some neighborhoods, residents have formed preparedness groups, sharing resources and information to make sure everyone is ready. Community centers are hosting workshops on everything from CPR to disaster communication. Even simple acts, like helping a neighbor assemble a kit or sharing a list of emergency contacts, can make a big difference in building collective resilience. In today's interconnected world, a crisis in one country can quickly ripple across continents, affecting markets, travel, and even our daily routines. The sense that it could happen here is more real than ever. For example, a cyber attack on a European energy grid can lead to higher gas prices in the US, while a conflict in Asia might disrupt global supply chains, making it harder to find basic goods at home. These ripple effects remind us that no one is truly isolated from global events, and that being prepared is no longer just a personal choice. It's a practical necessity. At its core, this trend is about ordinary people rising to meet extraordinary times, using the tools, information, and resources available to them to take control, support each other, and build resilience in the face of uncertainty. Whether it's a parent teaching their child how to call for help, a community organizing a preparedness fair, or a student learning how to purify water, these actions add up. They create a culture of readiness, one where people are not just reacting to fear but proactively building a safer, more resilient future for themselves and those around them. Walk into any outdoor retailer these days, and you'll notice something different. Crowds of people, shelves that look picked over, and a sense of urgency in the air. Or browse online, and you'll see the same story. Survival gear is flying off the shelves, with many websites showing low stock or sold out banners on popular items. In the past year, demand for essentials like gas masks, meal kits, and portable power banks has absolutely skyrocketed. Retailers report that items which once gathered dust are now among the first to disappear. Back orders are stretching for weeks, and some customers are waiting months for high-demand products to be restocked. Even online giants are struggling to keep up with the surge. What's striking is how much the customer base has broadened. It's not just hardcore preppers anymore. Parents, students, young professionals, and retirees are all getting in on the action, each with their own reasons for preparing. The most popular items reflect real, everyday concerns: air purifiers and masks for wildfire smoke, bottled water and canned food for supply chain disruptions, and portable power banks for unexpected blackouts. People are thinking about what they'd need if the basics suddenly became unavailable. Industry analysts are seeing double and even triple-digit growth in sales nationwide. The numbers are staggering. Some brands have reported more sales in the last 6 months than in the previous 3 years combined. Store shelves are emptying faster than they can be restocked. Manufacturers are scrambling to ramp up production, and warehouse workers are working overtime to fulfill a flood of online orders. But with so much flying off the shelves, a new question emerges. Are people actually buying what they need, or just grabbing whatever's left? Many shoppers are forced to make do with unfamiliar brands or less than ideal substitutes. So what are the real essentials? Let's dig deeper into what experts recommend and how you can make sure you're truly prepared, not just panic buying. Preparedness has moved from the margins to the mainstream. Today it's not just survivalists or doomsday preppers who are taking action. Everyday Americans are rethinking what it means to be ready for the unexpected. The shift is visible everywhere, from bustling suburban kitchens to crowded store aisles, and even in the digital world, where online retailers report record sales of emergency supplies. What was once seen as a fringe activity is now a common conversation at dinner tables, in group chats, and even at work. People are openly sharing tips, discussing plans, and encouraging each other to be proactive. It's not unusual to overhear coworkers comparing go bags or neighbors swapping advice on the best water filters. Middle-class families, retirees, and students are all stockpiling supplies, not out of fear, but responsibility. The motivation has shifted from anxiety to empowerment, as people realize that being prepared is a practical step anyone can take. For some, it's about protecting loved ones. For others, it's about feeling in control in a world that often feels unpredictable. Parents want to protect their children, teaching them how to respond in a crisis, and involving them in the process of getting ready. Some families now make preparedness a regular part of their routine, reviewing emergency contacts, practicing drills, and making sure everyone knows where the supplies are kept. Older adults worry about medication, making sure they have enough on hand and that their needs are met if supply chains are disrupted. Pharmacies have seen an uptick in requests for extended prescriptions, and many seniors now keep detailed lists of their medications and dosages in their emergency kits. And young people see preparedness as a life skill, something as essential as budgeting or cooking, and just as empowering. College campuses are hosting workshops on disaster readiness, and student organizations are distributing checklists and starter kits to their peers. More Americans than ever now keep at least a basic emergency kit at home, with essentials like water, food, flashlights, and first aid supplies. Some go further, adding portable chargers, emergency radios, and even solar panels to their kits. Online forums, YouTube channels, and local workshops are seeing record participation. People are eager to learn, share experiences, and stay informed about best practices. Social media influencers now post preparedness tips, and viral challenges encourage followers to build their own kits. Communities are coming together to share knowledge and resources, building networks of support that make everyone stronger in the face of uncertainty. In some neighborhoods, residents have created shared supply caches or organized group training sessions in first aid and disaster response. Preparedness is for everyone, not just the ultra-cautious or wealthy. People from all walks of life are finding ways to adapt, regardless of background or income. Community organizations are working to make resources accessible, offering free workshops and multilingual materials to ensure no one is left behind. It's a cultural shift. Americans are adapting to a new reality where uncertainty is the norm, and readiness is a shared value that brings people together. Whether facing hurricanes, wildfires, power outages, or pandemics, the collective mindset is changing. Preparedness is no longer just a personal choice. It's becoming a cornerstone of American life, woven into the fabric of communities across the nation. So, what's fueling this dramatic rise in preparedness across America? Let's break down the key factors that are pushing more and more people to stock up on survival gear and rethink their daily routines. First, there's a growing awareness that emergencies can strike at any time, and being unprepared can have serious consequences. Families are now making detailed checklists, holding practice drills, and openly discussing what to do if disaster hits. Global conflicts, like the war in Ukraine, rising tensions in the South China Sea, and ongoing instability in the Middle East, remind us that peace and stability are never guaranteed. These events dominate headlines, making the threat of international turmoil feel much closer to home. Whenever news breaks about unrest or conflict, stores see a surge in customers buying everything from water filters to portable generators. Retailers report that certain items, like freeze-dried food and first aid kits, sell out within hours after major news events. Cybersecurity threats are another major driver. High-profile hacks like the Colonial Pipeline attack have shown how vulnerable our infrastructure is. Suddenly, a digital attack isn't just an abstract risk. It can mean gas shortages, power outages, and even empty grocery store shelves. Economic instability is also weighing heavily on people's minds. Inflation has driven up the cost of basic necessities, while layoffs and job losses have left many families feeling financially insecure. For some, prepping is a way to regain a sense of control. By storing food, water, and other essentials, they're protecting themselves against future shortages or price spikes. The fear of not being able to provide for loved ones is a powerful motivator. People are budgeting more carefully, cutting back on non-essentials, and investing in supplies that could help them weather tough times. Then there's the impact of climate change. Extreme weather events, like wildfires in California, hurricanes along the Gulf Coast, and devastating floods in the Midwest, are becoming more frequent and severe. These disasters force thousands to evacuate every year, and many more to rethink how prepared they really are. When disaster strikes, communities often come together, but the first hours and days can be chaotic. Having a plan, and the right supplies, can make all the difference between safety and hardship. The constant stream of news, on TV, online, and social media, keeps people on edge. Every new crisis, whether it's a natural disaster or a cyber attack, adds to a growing sense of uncertainty and urgency. All these factors combine to create a perfect storm of anxiety and action. Americans are responding by preparing for a world where multiple risks can overlap at any moment, taking steps to protect their families, their homes, and their peace of mind. For decades, prepping was often dismissed as an extreme or fringe activity, associated with images of underground bunkers, doomsday predictions, and people stockpiling supplies for the end of the world. The media frequently portrayed survivalists as paranoid or out of touch, fueling a stigma that kept many Americans from openly preparing for emergencies. But in recent years, that stigma has started to fade. Today, prepping is no longer just for a select few. It's becoming a practical, everyday conversation in households across the country. People from all walks of life are realizing that being prepared isn't about expecting the worst, but about being ready for the unexpected. Preparedness is now seen much like insurance, something you hope you never need, but are grateful to have when disaster strikes. Just as we buy car or home insurance to protect against accidents or damage, more Americans are investing in emergency supplies, backup power sources, and contingency plans. This shift is driven by real-world events, power outages from wildfires or hurricanes, severe weather that disrupts daily life, or even sudden job loss that makes every resource count. These everyday disruptions have shown that resilience isn't just about surviving the apocalypse, it's about handling the challenges that can hit any family, anytime. More families now see prepping as a source of peace of mind, not paranoia. It's about empowering loved ones, reducing anxiety, and knowing you have a plan, no matter what comes your way. The reality is, government support can be delayed or overwhelmed during major disasters. That's why personal action, having supplies, plans, and skills, is increasingly seen as the first and most reliable line of defense. Prepping is quickly becoming a mainstream value, rooted in practical common sense and community spirit. From neighborhood workshops to family planning sessions, Americans are embracing preparedness as a smart, responsible way to protect themselves and those they care about, no longer out of fear, but out of confidence and foresight. When panic sets in, it's all too easy to make costly mistakes, especially when emotions are running high and shelves are emptying fast. In the chaos, people often grab whatever looks useful or popular, without stopping to think about what they actually need. This can lead to wasted money, wasted space, and a false sense of security. One of the most common errors is focusing on trendy or high-tech gear instead of the true essentials. Social media and advertising often highlight the latest gadgets, solar-powered radios, tactical knives, or even portable water purifiers, making them seem like must-haves for every household. But in reality, these items might not be as critical as they appear. Flashy tools and gas masks might look impressive, and they certainly make for dramatic photos, but basics like clean water, non-perishable food, and batteries are far more important in most emergencies. For example, during a power outage, a flashlight and extra batteries will be far more useful than a tactical vest. In a natural disaster, having enough drinking water and food for several days can be life-saving, while a gas mask might never leave its box. Many people fall for marketing hype, overlooking critical needs like prescription medications, infant formula, or pet food. Imagine being stuck at home during a blizzard, only to realize you're out of your daily medication or your pet's food. These are the kinds of oversights that can turn a stressful situation into a dangerous one. True preparedness isn't about having the most gear, it's about having the right gear and knowing how to use it. A well-stocked emergency kit should include items you're familiar with and can operate under stress. For instance, a simple manual can opener is more valuable than a high-tech gadget you've never tried before. Practicing with your supplies and making sure everyone in your household knows where they are and how to use them is just as important as the items themselves. The best way to avoid these mistakes is to start with a clear assessment of your family's needs and the specific risks in your area. Make a checklist that covers everyone in your household, including pets, and think about what you'd need to stay safe and comfortable for several days. Build your kit around those needs, and update it regularly as your situation changes. That way, you'll have a kit that truly protects you, rather than just impressing your neighbors or followers online. When it comes to preparing for emergencies, knowing where to start can feel daunting. There's a seemingly endless list of gear, gadgets, and supplies out there, and it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the options. But the truth is, the most effective emergency preparedness begins with the basics. By focusing on foundational needs, you'll be equipped to handle a wide range of situations, whether it's a sudden power outage, a severe storm, or an unexpected crisis that disrupts daily life. Let's break down the essential priorities that experts recommend for every household. Water is universally recognized as the #1 survival priority. The human body can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without water. In emergencies, municipal water supplies can become contaminated or disrupted, so it's crucial to plan ahead. Experts recommend storing at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for a minimum of 3 days. But ideally, aim for a week or 2. Don't forget to include extra for pets, cooking, and hygiene. If you have the space, storing more is always better, especially in hot climates or if you have infants, elderly family members, or anyone with special needs. Consider multiple ways to ensure safe drinking water. In addition to bottled water, keep water purification tablets, filters, or even a small camping stove for boiling water. This redundancy can be a lifesaver if your stored water runs out or becomes compromised. After water, food is your next priority. Focus on non-perishable items your family will actually eat. Think canned vegetables, beans, soups, and meats, as well as shelf-stable snacks. Choose foods that require little or no preparation and don't need refrigeration. It's important to select items that are familiar and comforting, especially for children, as stressful situations can make unfamiliar foods less appealing. Stock up on staples like pasta, rice, nut butters, meal bars, and dried fruits. These foods are filling, nutritious, and easy to prepare, even if you don't have access to a stove. Consider instant oatmeal, powdered milk, and canned fruit for variety. If you have dietary restrictions, make sure your emergency food supply reflects those needs. Aim for at least a 2-week supply of food for everyone in your household. To keep your stockpile fresh, rotate items regularly, use the oldest items first, and replace them as you go. Set a reminder to check expiration dates every few months and donate or use up anything that's nearing its end. Reliable light sources are essential during power outages. Battery-powered or hand-crank flashlights and lanterns are must-haves. Headlamps are especially useful because they keep your hands free. Don't forget to stock up on extra batteries and store them separately to prevent corrosion. Radios, especially NOAA weather radios, are vital for staying informed about emergency updates, evacuation orders, and weather alerts. Choose models that can run on batteries, solar power, or hand crank. Some radios even have built-in phone chargers or flashlights for added utility. In today's world, keeping your devices charged is more important than ever. Solar chargers and power banks ensure you can communicate, access emergency information, and use navigation apps if the grid goes down. Make sure your chargers are fully charged and test them regularly. A comprehensive first aid kit is a must. Stock up on bandages, antiseptics, over-the-counter medications, and any prescription drugs your family needs. Include supplies for minor injuries, allergies, and common illnesses. Don't forget items like tweezers, scissors, gloves, and a thermometer. Knowledge is just as important as supplies. Take a basic first aid class. Many are available online or through local organizations. Knowing how to treat wounds, burns, or allergic reactions can make a huge difference in an emergency, especially if professional help is delayed. Protect your most important documents, like IDs, insurance policies, medical records, and emergency contacts by storing them in a waterproof portable pouch. Include some cash and small bills, as ATMs and credit card systems may be down during a crisis. Keep digital backups on a secure cloud service or encrypted USB drive for added security. These essentials form the backbone of a solid emergency kit. Once you have these basics covered, you can customize your kit with additional items like blankets, hygiene products, pet supplies, or tools specific to your region's risks. By focusing on these priorities, you'll be prepared to face most emergencies with confidence, knowing you've taken practical steps to protect yourself and your loved ones. Remember, preparedness isn't about panic, it's about peace of mind and resilience. When it comes to emergency preparedness, having the right equipment is only half the battle. The real difference in a crisis comes down to your skills, your ability to stay calm, think clearly, and use what you have effectively. Imagine owning the best survival gear money can buy, but not knowing how to use it when it matters most. For example, do you know how to use your water filter? In an emergency, clean water is essential, but if you've never practiced with your filter, you might waste precious time, or worse, contaminate your supply. Take the time now to read the instructions, test it out, and make sure everyone in your household knows how it works. Can you cook without power or perform basic first aid? During a blackout, knowing how to safely use a camp stove or prepare a meal with shelf-stable ingredients can keep your family comfortable and safe. And basic first aid skills, like treating cuts, burns, or sprains, can make a huge difference before help arrives. Too often, people buy gear and stash it away, hoping they'll figure it out later. But in a real emergency, stress and panic can make even simple tasks feel overwhelming. If you've never opened your emergency kit, you might not even know what's inside, or how to use it. That's why practice and familiarity are key. Regularly rehearse emergency drills with your family, and challenge yourself to use your gear in realistic scenarios. Even something as simple as assembling a flashlight in the dark can be surprisingly tricky if you've never done it before. Many communities offer free or low-cost classes in first aid, fire safety, or disaster response. These classes not only teach you valuable skills, but also build your confidence and connect you with neighbors who are preparing too. Consider joining a local CERT, Community Emergency Response Team, or attending a Red Cross workshop. Ultimately, gear is just a tool. Its true value comes from your ability to use it. Knowledge, practice, and preparation are what turn ordinary people into effective responders. In an emergency, it's not the fanciest equipment that saves lives, it's the people who know what to do. So invest in your skills, not just your stuff. In recent years, some of the wealthiest Americans have taken preparedness to a whole new level, investing millions in luxury underground bunkers, survival condos equipped with pools and theaters, and even armored vehicles parked in suburban driveways. For these individuals, prepping isn't just about survival, it's about maintaining comfort, privacy, and security, no matter what happens. Some high-end shelters come with private gyms, medical suites, and even hydroponic gardens to ensure long-term self-sufficiency. There are even companies that offer custom-designed bunkers with biometric security, air filtration systems, and enough supplies to last for years. But preparedness doesn't require a fortune. For most Americans, prep is about making smart, practical choices, like building an emergency kit with affordable supplies, storing extra water, and having a plan for power outages or natural disasters. Most Americans build emergency kits on a budget, focusing on practical essentials like non-perishable food, water, flashlights, and first aid supplies. Community-based approaches, such as neighborhood watch groups, local preparedness workshops, and mutual aid networks, help families pool resources and knowledge, making everyone safer and more resilient. These grassroots efforts can be just as effective, if not more so, than high-tech bunkers. When neighbors work together to create disaster plans, share information, and support each other, entire communities become better prepared for emergencies. The media's focus on high-end prepping sometimes fuels the myth that readiness is only for the wealthy, that you need a bunker or a six-figure budget to be truly prepared. This perception can discourage everyday people from taking simple, effective steps to protect themselves and their families. In reality, the core principles of preparedness apply to everyone, regardless of background, income, or where you live. From rural towns to urban apartments, people across the country are finding creative ways to get ready for the unexpected. Whether you're in a city high-rise or a farmhouse, preparedness is about adapting to your environment and making the most of what you have. Ultimately, planning and organization matter far more than price tags. By staying informed, making a plan, and working together, anyone can be prepared. No luxury bunker required. Preparedness isn't about living in constant fear. It's about having a well-thought-out strategy that empowers you and your loved ones to face uncertainty with confidence. At its core, preparedness is a mindset, not just a checklist of supplies. The most effective plans are built on clear thinking, adaptability, and learning from both personal experience and the experiences of others. For example, after a local power outage, you might realize the importance of having extra batteries or a backup generator. Lessons learned in real time. Start by assessing your unique risks and resources. What emergencies are most likely where you live? Is your area prone to hurricanes, wildfires, earthquakes, or winter storms? Take stock of what you already have, like water, food, first aid supplies, and identify gaps. Research local hazards using online resources, community alerts, and government websites. Adaptability is crucial. Emergencies rarely unfold exactly as expected. Your plan should be flexible enough to handle unexpected changes like a blocked evacuation route or a sudden change in weather. Practicing different scenarios helps you stay calm and make quick decisions when it matters most. Practice drills regularly, whether it's a fire escape, earthquake safety, or shelter-in-place scenario. Stay informed by signing up for local emergency alerts and keeping a battery-powered radio handy. The more you practice, the more automatic your response will become, reducing panic in real situations. Involve your family, friends, or neighbors. Preparedness is always stronger when it's shared. Organize neighborhood meetings to discuss common risks and resources. Working together can help fill gaps like sharing tools or pooling knowledge about local hazards. Assign roles to each person in your household or group. Who will grab the go bags? Who's responsible for pets? Who will check on neighbors? Talk through different scenarios together and make sure everyone knows their responsibilities. Role-playing emergencies can help children and adults alike feel more prepared and less anxious. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being ready to act with the resources you have. Even small steps like organizing your supplies or updating your emergency contacts can make a big difference. Preparedness is a journey, not a destination. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep adapting as your needs and risks change. The rush for survival gear isn't just about empty shelves, it's a powerful signal of how deeply uncertainty has woven itself into the American mindset. When we see families scanning aisles for flashlights or neighbors comparing notes on water filters, it's not just about fear. It's about a desire for control in a world that often feels unpredictable. These scenes are a mirror reflecting our collective sense that disruptions, whether from natural disasters, economic shifts, or global events, may be just around the corner. The headlines change, but the underlying anxiety remains the same. Will we be ready if something happens? The real lesson here? Calm, strategic action beats panic every time. Instead of rushing to buy whatever's left on the shelves, start with the basics: water, food, light. Think about what your family actually needs for a few days or weeks at home. For example, a simple supply of bottled water, shelf-stable meals, and a reliable flashlight can make a huge difference in a power outage or storm. Communication is just as important. Make sure you know how to get information if the internet goes down, and that everyone in your household understands the plan. Add skills and knowledge over time, learn basic first aid, practice using emergency radios, and review your plan regularly. Preparedness is a journey, not a destination. It's about building habits, like updating your kit every season, or talking through what-if scenarios at the dinner table. Over time, these small steps add up to real resilience. The important thing is to start early, stay informed, and make choices that fit your life and your community. Maybe that means joining a local preparedness group, or simply making sure your neighbors have what they need. In uncertain times, the most powerful action you can take is to prepare thoughtfully, support those around you, and remember that resilience is built together, one step at a time. As we close out tonight's video, I want to challenge you. Take a moment to honestly reflect on your own preparedness. Remember, being prepared isn't about giving in to fear or panic. It's about building confidence, peace of mind, and real security for yourself and those you care about. Start simple. Gather water, non-perishable food, flashlights, batteries, and a first aid kit. Learn the basics: first aid, how to shut off utilities, and how to reach your family in an emergency. Stay informed with local alerts and reliable news. You don't need a bunker or a huge budget, just a plan and the determination to follow through. Make a family communication plan, know your meeting spots, and keep those important numbers handy. Even small actions like topping off your gas tank or having extra medication can make a world of difference. Take steady, practical steps. Practice your plan, check your supplies, and update as your needs change. Preparedness isn't a one-time task, it's an ongoing journey. Share your knowledge, inspire your friends, family, and neighbors to get ready too. When we prepare together, we build stronger, more resilient communities. So, what's your next step? Will you take action, or wait for the next crisis to decide? I'm Sean. Thanks for being part of this conversation. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember, true peace of mind comes from action, not anxiety.